Every day, neuroscientists worldwide make revolutionary discoveries that advance science and improve the health of millions of people. Yet future progress will rely on strong, sustained, and predictable public funding for basic translational and clinical science. Recognizing this, the global neuroscience community is joining forces under the leadership of the International Brain Research Organization to encourage more public outreach and advocacy.
The Ebro has, together with Society of Neuroscience, FENS, the Dana Foundation, International Society for Neurochemistry, formed the Global Advocacy Committee to promote a better research funding in different countries of the world.
Launched in 2013, the committee's primary goal is to empower local and regional neuroscience organizations as they communicate with the public and public officials worldwide. It also recognizes that scientists around the world must engage in public outreach in ways that are consistent with their cultures and national political systems. While each country may have unique needs and approaches to public outreach and advocacy, what do these approaches share in common worldwide?
To me, advocacy in general is about awareness. Awareness of the lay public, the general public, what the brain is about, in this case the brain, how important it is for societal issues, not just health, but also our daily life. It's about awareness of politicians and policymakers, science policymakers, funding agency, that investing in the brain is very important because we face huge challenges, and the only way to do something about it is to invest in it. And it's also about awareness for the neuroscientists themselves. If you do that at a national level, at a European level, at a more global level, that's what we're talking about with global advocacy.
So advocacy is the collective commitment that we would like from the voluntary sector, from the charities, from the public sector, including government, and the public at large, and philanthropy, as well as businesses. So for advocacy, what we're looking for is how do we generate that commitment for neuroscience research, and how to emphasize that without neuroscience research, we will not be able to understand how the brain works, how to keep our brains healthy, and how to repair them when they're damaged.
At Neuroscience 2013, Ebro, with participants from the Federation of European Neuroscience Societies, the International Society for Neurochemistry, and SFN, organized a symposium on global advocacy entitled Enhancing Global Cooperation on Advocacy. It urged scientists worldwide to get more involved and highlighted innovative advocacy efforts from around the globe.
The voice of researchers is essential to making a strong case for research investment. So today's event also seeks to ensure the entire community is aware of the important new Ebro Global Advocacy Initiative.
This workshop is incredibly important because it's one of the first to really bring FENS, SFNs, Ebro, ISN all together to discuss how do we promote advocacy worldwide, because it's a worldwide problem. It's not distinct to any country.
We know why neuroscientists are interested in the brain, but why should the public be interested in biomedical research?
And of course, brain relates to everyone's life, not just in terms of disease, but also how we perceive what's going on around us, how we absorb information, how we use our knowledge about education.
We're really raising money to keep the brain healthy and to repair it when it's broken.
We have incredible opportunities to work together worldwide to attack these neurological diseases using fundamental neuroscience.
The importance of engaging the public about brain research is not a recent development. Today's projects build on work over the last 20 years to inform the public about discoveries in the lab and what it means for scientific progress and human health.
The big problem with brain research is many people didn't connect the dots. So Alzheimer's, depression, Parkinson's, people did not connect the dots that those were all brain-related diseases and disorders. And so 20 years ago, we started the Dana Alliance and we created a platform for scientists so they could step out of their labs and talk to the public. And we did that with seminars and articles and programs and TV shows. And then in 1996, we created a program called Brain Awareness Week. And 18 years later, it's a global campaign. The Society for Neuroscience is our major partner in this, and FENS and Ebro, but all over the world we have participants.
In order to deal with all of these neurological diseases that plague us, the ones that have been so difficult to treat, we're going to need a huge amount of funding. Disease, well, let me put it like this. If you think research is expensive, try disease. Disease is profoundly expensive.
With this goal in mind, how have international, regional, and local groups worked together to advocate for brain awareness and research?
So in Spain, the main problem is that the politicians are changed every 4 years, and this is why we tend to go more into the lay public. So our strategy is to really educate the public. Instead of just disseminating science or just giving information, we try to make the people really get aware of what neuroscience is and how can neuroscience contribute to society.
Every country has a different way of stimulating advocacy, and that's a clever way. So we're seeing all these ideas come up in different countries, and each one has their different way, and we can learn from each other in how to do this.
So if we look at what FENS has done in terms of global advocacy, we have launched a program together with the Society for Neuroscience, equal partners, about 2 years ago, where we wanted to promote advocacy in Europe. And then we started a program that each of our member societies could ask for seeding grant, very small grants, only up to 5,000 euros. But there was great enthusiasm, and in fact we funded 17 of those grants to 14 of our member societies. And they were actually geared to either address the lay public or the funding agencies or the politicians.
In Italy, they decided neuroscience and the arts, neuroscience and cooking, and they have workshops for the public where they try to show how important creativity and art is and why that's linked to how your brain works.
Each year, Society for Neuroscience hosts a Capitol Hill Day, where we bring neuroscientists from across the country to Washington, D.C. to meet with their legislators in support of science. And this is really a fantastic opportunity for individual scientists to make connections with those who already support science. So that's a great opportunity with Capitol Hill Day. We also use Capitol Hill Day to, of course, talk to legislators who may not be as sympathetic to the importance of biomedical research funding.
Individual scientists at all levels are the essential advocates for science in their countries. Every scientist has a unique story about how what they do has the potential to advance science and improve health. There's a special urgency for early career researchers to get involved now.
Advocacy is something that should be done by people of any age. There is a special role for young people in advocacy. First of all, they're very close to the real experiments. They can speak from their own excitement, their own fascination for the brain. And they can perhaps easier relate to a younger target group, to a younger public.
Any of us imagine that we're going to be able to take and cure these diseases like Alzheimer's in the next year or 2 or 5 or 10. We have to have a pipeline of extremely well-trained, very committed and deeply skilled young researchers. So if we ignore the people coming up behind us, we're lost.
We need to be willing to step out of our little bubble, out of our lab, out of our PhD project, and talk about the bigger picture.
So what have others done, and how can you get involved?
So we'll go to the elementary schools and put on really fun and exciting, easy experiments that the kids can realize this is what your brain does. These are things that I never really thought about, and just engage them at a really young age. And that's something very specific that our program has done to advocate for neuroscience in our specific community.
Also, I think we as more senior people, we should involve them, because throughout the rest of the career, I mean, they're young now, these people, but throughout the rest of the career, they have a they need to go on with advocacy, not just as young people, but this is something they will need to do for the rest of their life. And we have to explain how important this is.
You need a converging effort of the young with enthusiasm and more senior still with enthusiasm.
If we collect data in Europe, if people in the United States collect data, bringing those data together gives you so much more power and helps us to understand the brain so much better that it's really important to unite our forces and also to unite our activities in terms of advocacy.
The need to raise awareness of the brain and its disorders, as well as the pressing need for public investment in brain research, is an important effort at all levels, from local to international. This effort requires all scientists of all nations to educate communities about the wonders of the brain and mind, and to explain why global investment is vital to advance understanding of the brain and nervous system.